to the Conversica technical deep dive. Mission of this video is to educate you on Conversica, talk to you about some of the technical aspects of Conversica, and sort of walk you through how other companies such as yours can be using Conversica and are using Conversica today to build revenue and pipeline for their organizations. Now, Conversica is an artificial intelligence platform. Its mission life is actually to connect humans to humans. Believe it or not, yes, we're leveraging AI so two human beings can actually talk to each other. Whether it be a lead to a sales rep or a customer to a customer success rep, we have the right assistant for you and for your team. Currently right now, our flagship product is the Sales AI Assistant, but we also have assistants for service, currently right now servicing only the automotive industry, as well as for financial collections and as well as other missions as well. So we are looking at now, as I open up my screen, to Salesforce deployment of Conversica. We're going to talk about some of the points here of other tools that we integrate with, but primarily to more deep dive into the actual platform itself. It actually integrates with over 48 different CRMs, primarily most of them used by automotive dealerships across the United States and Canada, as well as with some of the core technical CRMs used by other verticals, which are Salesforce, Velocify, Marketo, HubSpot, Pardot, and Eloqua. Now, what we're looking here in this is the Salesforce deployment. This can be pulled off the App Exchange of Salesforce. You must have an enterprise level edition or higher to use our service. And we are touching the lead, contact, and campaign objects upon that deployment, and we're going to deploy out with our own tab, which is, as you can see here, highlighted in blue, called Conversica. Again, being an application, we'll download that application in the application section of Salesforce, and we are also lightning ready. Although I'm going to show you Conversica in these classic Salesforce sense. Now, I'm on my overview. I'm looking at the dashboard. The dashboard is only available to managers and administrators of the Conversica platform. Normal sales reps would actually not see this. They would see something down below, which, as you can see here, is highlighted as hot leads, leads at risk, leads to review, and all leads. But right now, we're looking at how is my assistant doing over a date range of October 1st to today. So on the left-hand side, we have a bar and line graph. That's looking at my agent's performance working on behalf of my team to engage leads. And on the right-hand side, we can see here we're looking at the stats for the same time for my assistant, who is Rachel Brooks. Been working with me now since May of 2014. She's created 375 opportunities, almost worth $1 million. As well as she's messaged about 15,000 leads that she's actually engaged with about 21%. So about 3,000 of those leads have actually responded back to her, and about 10% actually converted into opportunities for my team. During that same time, she's uncovered 1,675 new telephone numbers. That's people self-identifying their correct contact information. And it's been roughly about almost close to a 5-to-1, 6-to-1 ratio of engagement to lead. And so what's unique about that is, we're really going on that long tail sort of engagement for your leads, and also to help support your reps. Now, as we go over the bar graph here, as I highlight with my cursor, I can see some unique data points. So if I look at October 23rd to the 29th, we had 150 leads of which we engaged. Our percentage was a little bit low, about 15%. But of those 130 some odd leads, about 19 of them, almost a little bit over, close to 10%, actually engaged with us. And we had one of them was at risk. So in Conversica, as you can see here in blue, we have engaged leads. And engagement for us is someone responding back to the AI in a positive or negative fashion, so showing interest or not interested. A hot lead is a lead that's identified some data that the AI has identified as someone has to jump on that person right away. And a lead at risk is that individual who has gone through the process, but unfortunately, for some reason, a sales rep has not followed up. And as we can see here, those little reds should be very low and they should not be very high. So now the uniqueness is how does the AI know what a hot lead and a lead at risk is? The lead at risk is a sentiment analysis looking for some specific keywords and also sentiment within the context. A hot lead is demonstrating some very specific intent and request upon the lead to take an action right away. And that's all part of our AI component build out. We use natural language generation, natural language processing, and we have what's called an inference engine to make those decisions. So we're not just automating things, We're not just automating the sending of emails. The AI is actually working as if it's a member of your team, supporting your team beyond your behalf. Across the top, we have the lead manager. This is actually really designed for you to see the responses as they're coming in. You can either see a list view or a response view. We have reporting. You can see a deeper dive of how your assistant's actually working, where leads are in the process, how many new leads you're adding, conversations that are actually more effective versus other conversations that are not. We don't really do campaigns. Our AI has dynamic conversations. How your sources are performing and your reps' performance, and also identifying, if you're a Salesforce customer, the unique opportunities that we have integrated with. Tab here called Best of Conversica. We have an anonymized representation of some of the best conversations our AI has had. And then we have a settings tab here where you can actually set your assistant settings, your team settings, your alerts, and your company settings. I will not be going through this section at this time. That's for another video at another time. Basically, it's allowing you to configure who is going to see and work with your assistant. Now on the overview, as I scroll down, I can see here 4 unique tabs down below. All my hot leads that have come in from this date range. Again, this is a date range of October 1st to February 9th, 2017. Number of leads at risk I have, number of leads that need to go into review, and all the leads actually work during that time frame. Now, as we move down to the tabs down below, we have hot leads, leads at risk, leads to review, and then all leads. Let's review those tabs individually one by one. What I'm looking at is actually all the leads that are being worked and engaged with my sales assistant, Rachel. Now, I can see here I've got the status. These are all my hot leads. It's been identified. The AI has identified this as a hot lead. It's also, this person's provided a telephone number already, and we received a new telephone number as well too. And as well as, different sources, the lead source it came from, the rep we're supporting, where the AI is, and how long ago that activity took place. Leads at risk are leads where the individuals responded back in a positive fashion somewhere down the road, but unfortunately our reps have not followed up. Leads to review is where a lead has said something, requested some information, said something specific where the AI will no longer take action, but feels a human being should actually review the response and do what is appropriate. And then all leads are all the leads we've worked during this time frame. Of course, in this case here, we're looking over the last 30 days. So as I go to hot leads, I can actually click on Mike, and that's actually going to pop up this window here and start a conversation and show the conversation that the AI has actually started with Mike himself. So this lead came in earlier today, probably around 11:21, maybe 11:20. A little bit of difference in time. There's a 5-minute API call between the AI and Salesforce. That's also true for Velocify, Marketo, HubSpot, Pardot, and Eloqua. So the good news is it's still real time. It's still fast to engage with your lead, as well as it doesn't look as if it's just a canned message coming out, but it feels like it's actually been written up by a real human being. Now the other thing we do to make that possible is we grab a variable. In this case, we put in our variable, which is product demo. Now, in a typical solution, you would normally have a template, almost Mad Libs, noun, verb, action here, and that would be the case. What's unique about our service is not really Mad Libs. Your variable becomes a sticky point, and everything around it gets written by the AI. That's a natural language generation that we're talking about. And her whole mission in life is really to get the human being to answer this question. Would you like me to set the call? Yes or no? And by the way, this is all done over email. Very important. And sure enough, about an hour and 3 minutes later, he responds back with, do you have availability tomorrow between the times of 12 and 3? And this has now been identified as a hot lead. So what we've done is we have passed this on to the rep, and the rep is now told to engage this lead immediately right away, as well as we now schedule a message to follow up with this lead about 4 days later, so sometime on Monday, to engage the lead and see if that lead actually was engaged. And why do we do that? Why are we asking that lead has been engaged? Well, primarily because we want to know that they actually get connected with. So we go to Mike, a different lead here. We can see as this lead comes up, a couple of messages. He says, hey, please call me to discuss. New telephone number identified. We do a follow-up a few days later, asking if you actually connected with Micah. No response. Try again one more day. Did you actually connect with Micah? And we find out, I have not been contacted. Today's a bad day. However, next week would be fine. So now we determine that, this guy showed interest, provided a new telephone number. My rep, Micah, unfortunately did not follow up with this lead. And now he's saying, hey, don't call me today on February 1st. Go ahead and call me tomorrow. Call me on the next day. We'll be fine. And we call that a lead at risk because the person has shown interest and intent and didn't move forward. Now, what's unique is all these conversations you see here, if you don't have an integration with Salesforce, or you would actually be seeing these in our native platform and also in the email alerts that your reps would be getting. In Salesforce, you can actually see this in the lead and contact objects. If you're using just a marketing automation tool, all these responses are coming back into your marketing automation tool as well as into your CRM systems for the dealerships, the many of which I don't know off the top of my head, but you can discuss with your sales rep or technical account manager later on. Also, what's unique too is every response that is coming back is actually being recorded as activity history in all those tools, but primarily in Salesforce, Marketo, HubSpot, Pardot, Eloqua, and Velocify. And then on the right-hand side here, you can see our salesperson's performance. We can see our highest volume rep is actually Micah, but we see a negative impact when it comes to his satisfaction score because he has a lot of leads at risk. Whereas Leah, Kyle, Adam, Spencer, and Christina are all doing very well, but their volume is very low. So what this tells me actually, as a manager right away, my AI assistant is supporting Micah more than supporting all the other individuals because Micah's getting a lot more leads and he's also not following up on them. So it's probably time to start divvying out those leads to other individuals. And I can sort this by my top performers when it comes to the performance metrics. I can look at my poor performers. Micah seems to be leading the pack right there, but it gives you the ability to actually sort of see how your assistant's doing and whether or not too many leads are being funneled to the wrong person or need to be spread out and they can feel the love. Lastly, on the lower right-hand side, you can see here how all your different lead sources are performing and engaging with your leads. So that's the overview dashboard. This dashboard actually does represent itself on our native platform. The only thing you're missing here are those Salesforce things across the top, as well as some of the Salesforce uniqueness, such as looking at the opportunity creation, which right now currently is only for our Salesforce customers. So let's talk about how you can actually manipulate the dashboard to actually get more data for you and for your organization. Some things you can do is you look at custom date ranges, and you can actually do a comparison over your previous ranges as you see down below. You can also select the specific conversations that you're actually working with. So I want to look at all my leads that have done post-event follow-up, so those individuals have actually done trade shows. I can do that over the last 30 days. And by selecting that, I will then automatically, dynamically recreate the graph. And as you can see here, my things have changed on the right-hand side when it comes to Rachel's all-time statistics on that conversation. But we're looking for the last 30 days, so I want to see what her current rate is right now. So she's only identified about 12 opportunities, but no one's actually put their data set in. So you can see here some small engagement post-event that has occurred. You can do the same thing for any of these different types of conversations. I want to say maybe specific drive action we're doing that's also going on. I can add all those together, and that will dynamically update my charts and stats of where individuals are in working with those leads. As you see here, we only have 8 hot leads so far. Now what you're seeing here is the campaign object in Salesforce. And as you can see, we've deployed this other information, the matching the campaign to the conversation. So how leads or contacts in Salesforce get added to a Conversica conversation, a couple of ways you can do that. One, you can manually add them to a campaign. 2, you can use automation using your marketing automation tool to design the workflow to add them to that campaign as well too. So basically, this campaign is what you can see here, the conversation called post drive action. We can see that it's active. This is basically telling the AI that Conversica conversation is to do a certain set of cadence, look for a certain form of questioning, and looking for specific answers that come back to that question. Now again, we're looking at yes or no answers, so there's lots of different ways to say yes or no. You don't have to train the AI on what that looks like. And then the campaign name itself is actually what's driving that specific component of the campaign. In this case, it's a post-trade show. In this case, Serious Decisions Tech Exchange. And it's a post-event drive action. So the AI knows to talk about going to an event, knows about talking about doing X, Y, Z, knowing to engage with that audience in that specific way. Now what's unique about this is, obviously as you're very well aware in Salesforce, you can't always automate adding members to campaigns, hence we highly suggest if you have a marketing automation tool to use that workflow there. But you can do it manually by running reports or clicking on the Add to Campaign button. So that's how we work sort of technically within a Salesforce instance where we sort of integrate as a point of adding people to the conversations. Now what we're looking at right now is a lead in my Salesforce instance, and that's that same lead that earlier was the hot lead. Just want to show you the conversation replicates itself in both the lead and contact object. So the rep doesn't actually have to go into our Conversica tab, nor does they have to log into the Conversica system to actually see the messaging that is coming out. This actually is also communicated to the rep by email. The rep will actually see the response that's come back, and also will be able to take action upon that based on the AI has notified that individual. But we can see the conversation replicated here, And also we can see the campaign he's assigned to, when he was added, when the first message went out, and the last message was sent, when the last response was actually received back. And these data set here can be used for your reporting and metrics also within the Salesforce dashboarding system or any other reporting tool that you desire. And as we can see in the activity history, we do have that same hot lead response tagged back here in the activity history as well too. So not only do you have that information in a visual force page on the lead or content object, but you also have that in your history as well too. Again, the ability to sort of see that task actually engaged. So this concludes the portion of the technical dive of Conversica. Again, to give a brief overview of how Conversica sort of works. Some things for you to know: we use the REST API for most of our integrations. Our calls are about every 5 minutes. We do have an out-of-the-box API, but if you need any customization, there are professional services fees charged. When it comes to our integrations with Salesforce, Marketo, Pardot, HubSpot, and Eloqua, those are actually engaged with out-of-the-box integrations. There's a setup fee that does take care of most of your training and installation components, and the rest is all just part of the package. If you'd like to learn more, taking an even deeper dive with one of my members of the team, feel free to go to Conversica.com, request a live demo, and that will put you in the queue to talk to an individual. Or you can also just try Conversica as well too by going to Conversica.com, try the free edition. It's forever free, up to 25 leads in your own personal assistant to harass your friends and also find valuable opportunities for you to make some good money. Again, thank you for your time and joining me on this technical walkthrough of Conversica.